Welcome back, Year 9. So this is your second lesson for the week, which is your assessment on what was the main cause of World War II. So we're going to revise the events in the late 1930s. We're going to understand how to answer a 16-mark question, and then you are going to evaluate whether the Nazi-Soviet Pact was the main cause of World War II during your assessment. Take a second now to look at the key words at the bottom. Your first part then, you're going to do a quiz. So you need to follow the link to the Google form and complete the quiz about the events of the 1930s and the build up to World War II. I will be able to see your responses. So if you pause it now and complete your quiz. So your assessment is a 16-mark question, as the last few assessments have been. If you're establishing, so if you want 4 marks, you're mentioning one or more factors in a very basic way with kind of facts that don't really match. If you're doing developing, which is your 5 to 8 marks, you are simply explaining one or more factor, and you are using facts and dates that are relevant to the question to support your points. So 9 to 12 marks now, you are using it to explain arguments for and against the statement. So you have to have one reason for, one against in order to get secured. And you're using that to facts again to support both sides. Mastered, if you wanted those 13 to 16 marks, you are consistently explaining arguments for and against. And you have got evaluation throughout. So throughout your essay, I should know which you think is the main factor. And you're leading to an overall judgment in your conclusion at the end. It is the specific facts and dates that make it mastered. So you are carefully choosing facts that are going to back up your points that are very obvious and specific. For mastered, you need to have the 4 paragraphs. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to create a plan for your assessment using the structure and the revision cards that are attached to help you. So for your paragraph 1, you need to look for evidence that agrees with the statement that the Nazi-Soviet Pact was the main cause of World War II. So your statement is saying the Nazi-Soviet Pact was the main reason for the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939. How far do you agree? So your first paragraph is going to agree with that and say, yes, it was the Nazi-Soviet Pact. So you need to find evidence. Your second paragraph, so this is where you're still in developing. Your second paragraph, you're going to disagree and argue another cause. So you're going to pick one of the causes that you can see in the revision cards or from your revision lesson, and you're going to argue how that is the main cause. So again, find your evidence. If you're going further than that for secured, you are going to pick another disagree. So you're going to pick another factor, or you're going to do a second agree that yes, it was the Nazi-Soviet Pact, and argue that. Mastered students, you are then going to do your conclusion. So this is your overall judgment. What do you think the main cause of World War II was? So are you going to agree, yes, it was the Nazi-Soviet Pact, or are you going to disagree and say, no, it was this factor instead? So you need to go through now and create a plan, find the evidence you want to use. So you can pause it while you make a plan. So now you will need to complete your assessment. There are sentence starters on the screen for you if you want to use them. If you don't, that is also fine. So the blue is your developing sentence starters, secured is the green, and mastered, you've got the purple there as well. Remember, if you're doing mastered, you need to do all of what's on the screen. Secured, it's the first 3, developing, it's the first 2. Good luck. You can pause it. So the sentence starters stay there. Once you are done, you need to take a picture and upload your assessment. Please make sure it is clear. So all you need to upload for this lesson is your assessment. It needs to be a clear photo, whether you've handwritten it or if you've typed it, upload the document. Thank you very much, Year 9.